Hello, 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 hello. Oh, the wonderful world of technology. This morning, my camera wouldn't come on. It's on now. Good morning and welcome. I hope you are well. Welcome to my weekly YouTube live, my darling ones. I hope you are looking after yourself. Say hello to me in the comments if you are nothing. If you are nothing, say hello to me in the comments. Just let me know where you are in the world so I can say hi back to you. So welcome, my darling. This is my weekly check-in. This particular check-in is for my lovely ladies in the US and Canada, that side of the world. Of course, if you are not from that side of the world, do let me know where you are from in the world. You're always welcome here. Whether you're folding laundry, trying to sort out kids, or feeling like life's a little bit too challenging and overwhelming for you right now and a little distressed, you're in the right place. And I am very pleased to see you today. Like I said, say hi in the comments to me. Let me know where in the world you are from. This space each week is for you in the happy moments, sad moments, devastating moments, and the really difficult moments. You are welcome to come here and join us as we try and make sense of what can sometimes feel like a really mess up world. So welcome to my table, you beautiful ones. I don't know what is going on there. I've got a little thing there. There we go. You're from the US. I know you are, darling. I know you are because I know who you are. Hello. All right. I know you're busy. I know you're really busy. We are all super, super busy. I am busy. We women, we tend to carry a heavy load. So you're probably juggling a million things. So when we start these lives, the first thing that we do is we stop what we're doing and take just a minute for ourselves. We want to just focus on ourselves for 10 seconds. And we do a little check-in. It's how we always start. So big breath in and out. Do a couple of those for me. And I want you to just check in with yourself. How are you doing today? And I find that giving a number to many things in life really helps me understand where I'm at quite quickly. And I do this as a 0 to 10. 0 being life is really challenging and I am struggling, to 10 being, you know what, couldn't be better. Life is sweet. And then, of course, we're somewhere in between often. So I'd love to know in the comments, where are you today between 0 and 10? In these lives, what I tend to do is share a little story about my week that leads into a question I'm going to ask you. And then you're welcome to ask me anything at all about anything at all to do with you and your life. And if I'm able to, I will definitely answer your questions. My name is Debbie Carberry. I am a qualified university-trained therapist. Online, I help people with their relationship problems, usually women over 40 whose long-term relationships have ended, and all the things that comes with that. So that could be estranged kids, it could be menopause, it could be just getting through the devastation of the very early days of separation. A partner may have had an affair. There's all sorts of things. We deal with everything here. So let's have a look. Sarah, you're in 6 today. 6, that's over 5, which is definitely on the right trajectory. And Mary, you're at a 5 right now. I hear you. So let me share a little. It's been a bumpy old week. It has been a bumpy week for me. Not in the usual way, which is odd. Because this week should have been a good week for me. Girls, you know what I say, don't shoot on yourself. But it should technically have been a good week for me because my youngest boy turned 25. And that is a really big deal, especially if you know the story of my youngest boy. So if you don't, let me fill you in with it. And I'd love you to like, share, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down if you like, share, follow, let people know that I'm live. That would be very helpful. So why should it have been a big deal for me? My boy turns 25. He's my youngest son. And it should have been a big celebration and be good. But, and as my daughter says, buts are for pooping. But he wasn't. So let me give you a little bit of backstory. So my son, before he was born, when I was 18 weeks pregnant, I found out that he had a significant life-threatening condition. And I was told at the time of that scan that there was a very high likelihood that my son wouldn't survive. And even if he did, he may not survive long after birth. And it was horrific. It was a horrific time in my life. My boy, after he was born, had 3 open heart surgeries in 4 years. The first one when he was just 4 weeks old. And for many years, because of what I was told by doctors, I really lived in a state of waiting for this boy of mine to die. You know, I was loving him while expecting there to be a loss for me. And my body learned to be very vigilant. My body learned to hold my breath and to wait for this to happen. And this isn't new to me. I have a long history of trauma as a child, a very traumatic childhood. So I'm actually, when trauma comes along, I know exactly how to deal with trauma. I know how to really push things down and really push through and really not look after myself. I was very aware of how to do that. So I had my son when I was 30, 35. I'm 60 now. So I knew how to deal with this stuff, because I had a traumatic childhood. But, I loved this little human that was inside of my body, and I carried in my body for the best part of 39 weeks. And all I could think during this time was, I have no control. And when I dealt with my childhood trauma, I did everything I could to feel in control. And as a young adult, I did things in my life to feel in control. But here I was in this situation all of a sudden where I was out of control. And, you'd think, gosh, he's 25, Debbie. Like, shouldn't you be really happy? Shouldn't you feel really good? Well, even 25 years later, that trauma response still shows up for me. And to be honest with you, I thought this year was different. So in the lead up to his birthday, I was telling myself, gosh, I'm really handling it well this year. I'm not feeling distressed. I'm not feeling emotional. I'm feeling okay. I generally do not spend his birthday, the day of his birthday, with him. It's just the way it's turned out as he's gotten older. And of course, when he was younger, he would oftentimes be at his dad's for his birthday, and then he would come home to me. So I didn't deal with the actual day with him. And this year was no different. I actually went and saw him a couple of days after his birthday. And I went to see him for his birthday. We went out for lunch, and I ended up in tears, and I ended up really upset and feeling bothered by a lot of small, tiny little things. And I came home. We'd had an exchange, my boy and I came home sad that I'd had that exchange with him. And I felt the need to write to him and explain to him what was going on. I was like, gosh, I really felt I was doing okay this year, but it was really hard. And he said, these are exactly the words he said. He said, Mom, I'm 25 and I'm still here. This is a celebration. And of course, he's right. It is a celebration. I'm really happy that my son at 25 is still with us. I'm really grateful for that. But the trauma doesn't work with the logic of this, the logic that it should be okay. I should be happy. I should feel relief. So trauma doesn't work like that. And uncertainty doesn't work like that. And for me, a lot of the time, what really matters is this feeling of being out of control. And for you all, I would ask you now, do you feel a bit like the world is out of control? Maybe it's a global feeling of the world is out of control. Maybe it's political, especially if you're living in the US. Maybe it is socially. Maybe it's personally. Maybe you have lost a job, or you have estrangement with your children, or maybe you have issues with your parents as they age. Maybe you have issues with an employer. Like, there's 1,000 things that can be layered into this absolutely awful feeling of feeling out of control. And I think the thing that makes us feel like that can be different, but the visceral experience, the bodily experience, can be really challenging. So let me know in the comments, are you living with a level of uncertainty right now that maybe is keeping your body switched on? And I want you to understand, if you are, that that's how humans respond to threat, especially a prolonged period of threat. And threat isn't necessarily somebody doing something to us directly, but it can be that awful feeling of doom and challenge and difficulty and despondency and all of the things. And I think for many of us, if there is something globally or politically or socially happening, which is massive, and for those of you going through that, my heart absolutely just aches for you. I'm in Australia, and it feels safe over here. But I observe, I have clients who are in the US and Canada and the UK and Ireland and many countries in the world. And so I have people I know their faces, I know their stories, and my heart aches for those people because I feel like it is a really challenging time. So today I really want to talk about how do we get through this stuff, because here's the thing, we need to get through it somehow. And living with uncertainty switches your body on and keeps your body switched on. So I'm going to give you some tips about how to manage that. How do you respond to this prolonged threat? you know. And of course, if on top of that layer we have relationships ending, maybe a partner's had an affair, maybe we have children who are estranged from us, maybe we have the situation of going through menopause or dealing with illness or other things, maybe our life is completely shifted in ways we never planned it to. And of course, all of those things can feel absolutely relentless. At times like this, it wakes up inside of us this survival wiring, this part of us that knows how to deal with life and death situations. It knows how to push through because humans have that built in, right? So I want to ask you some questions and let me know in the comments. What are the 3 things in your life that leave you feeling spiraling? So not kind of, oh God, here we go again, but things that really send you into feelings of helplessness and hopelessness and despair and anxiety, maybe even depression. And I'd love to know in the comments the sort of things that do that for you. I want to ask you a couple of questions just to reflect on, as I do every week. Ask yourself, what am I reacting to right now? Give it a name. Is it a separation? Is it going through court? Is it waiting for an outcome of some sort? Is it that there's political unrest and you don't know how to deal with that? Is it that you want to talk to your adult children and they are saying, I want no contact with you? What are you reacting to right now? The next thing is this something in your control? And let me help you with that, right? We have zero control over people, places, and things. We have control over ourselves and nothing else, zero else. And some of ourselves we may not have control over. We don't have control over menopause. We don't have a control over a partner having an affair. We don't have a control over our estranged children who don't want to talk to us. We don't have control over medical issues, like we don't. But what is actually in your control? It's really important to understand that. And the final question I'd ask you is, what are you doing right now that helps you feel better? And are you doing anything at all that can make things feel worse? And there's no judgment in there. It's just about getting information. And there are definitely things that make things feel better and definitely things that can make things feel worse. So just have a think about those things. And while you're doing that, and before you start asking me questions, and before I give you a little tip on how to manage some of this stuff, my name is Debbie Carberry, as I said at the beginning. I am a university-trained therapist and relationship coach online. I have a membership program where I help women from around the world come together to just manage some of these issues that come up. I create a community for them. I hold question and answer sessions privately with them. In addition to that, I offer one-on-one sessions. So if you are looking for information about any of that stuff, I will leave that information for you down in the description. You are more than welcome to hit me up and ask me if you would like some help with anything that I've got. You will find free resources on YouTube that are in my descriptions that you can just download and have a look at. They're there to be helpful to you. And also I have a store at the top of my YouTube page. I do live video, and not live videos. I go live once a week, and twice a week I also release videos on specific topics around being over 40, long-term relationships ending, and all the things that comes with that. And I try and put them in organized playlists for you so that you can find the information that you need. So if you have questions for me, you're welcome to pop them into the comments and put a Q in front of them, and I will answer as many questions as I can. And while I'm waiting for questions to come through, I am going to give you some information around how you handle these really challenging moments in life. So, when life feels like a roller coaster ride, I don't know about you lot, but I really do not like roller coasters. I just don't. They scare the hell out of me. So when we're in these unpredictable, quite distressing times, we want to try and stay grounded. What the heck does that mean, Debbie? What does it mean when therapists and coaches say, stay grounded? Well, we don't want to leave our bodies. We want to stay in our bodies, and we want to keep our bodies and our minds firmly on the ground. And what that means is being in the calmest state we can be in to think clearly and work out what we want to do. We don't have to like what's happening. We don't have to like it. We don't have to think it's good. Trust me, I do not like roller coaster rides. I do not like them. I do not think they are good. But if we can settle down our bodies even a little bit, our minds will settle down too. And that really helps us to move out of this part of our brain, which is this activated, lit up, really distressed part of our brain to move to this part, which is the part that goes, let's work out what to do next. Let's work out how we're going to manage this. And this part of our brain can come on board and really start to help us to work out what we're going to do. When we're scared and we don't know what's ahead or what is waiting for us, which is also, uncertainty is a really challenging thing. I have struggled with uncertainty across my lifetime. I love predictability. I love things, to know what things are coming next. I really like that. Even fun things, if they're unpredictable, don't feel fun at times for me. So predictability is really important. So knowing what's coming ahead, what's waiting for us, knowing if the worst of it is over, or whether it's going to get worse. Those are the thoughts that many times we can go through. What is going to happen next? What's waiting for me? Is it going to get worse than it is right now? Is this the worst it's going to be? And if you can relate to that, give me a love heart in the comments. Like, do you sit there churning with those thoughts? Because in moments like that, the very things that are going to help us to get through that, because what's happening is, as we feed those thoughts, oh my gosh, what if this happens? What if that happens? What if that happens? What if that happens? We start to get more and more distressed. So what we're trying to do is bring our distress levels down. So